If you want to scale your business, but you're already working 60, 80, 100-hour weeks, the thought of more customers might actually scare you because deep down, you know you can't handle the growth. Growth right now would completely break you. But here's what no one's telling you. The problem isn't that you can't handle more customers. The problem is you're trying to scale by doing more when you should be scaling actually by doing less. You don't need more hours or more hustle. You need systems that will grow your business while you step back. I'm Stacey Tuschel. I'm an 8-figure business owner with over 20 years in the game. I've built multiple companies from the ground up, and I can tell you the fastest scaling businesses aren't grinding harder. They are working systematically. So in this video, I'm going to break down 4 systems that convert more leads, reactivate past customers, and will multiply the value of every single sale, all running on autopilot without you. So get these running and your business finally stops feeling chaotic and starts feeling like a well-oiled operation that grows without you burning out. So if you are still running your business off of memory and sticky notes and whatever you have time for, let me be honest, the reason it's not scaling is you. Winging it might have worked when you were just starting out, but it is not the strategy that is going to take you to 7 or 8 figures. Systems will. So system number 1 is follow up. Now, why does follow up matter? Well, most businesses lose sales not because of bad offers, but because they give up too soon. The average customer isn't going to just call you once or DM you or email you once and buy immediately. I mean, we would love that, but that's not what's actually happening. Some of them do need a few more touch points. They do need a few more reminders. Have you ever wanted to buy something? Maybe you even added it to the cart and then somebody texted or called or they yelled mom and you had to go help them, right? You got distracted. You just needed another touch point. You needed a little nudge, a reminder, hey, you left something. And I think as business owners, we're like, I mean, if they wanted it, they would come back. No, not necessarily. They might have gotten busy. They might have forgotten. So I want to ask you right now, if I were to get into your business and I were to see every time somebody called you, emailed you, and DM'd you, would you be proud of the way you've replied? And then would you be proud of the way you continue to follow up? Maybe you're not following up at all. Or maybe you have a really pretty 3 email sequence follow-up, right? But it ends in 2 weeks. And then you never message them ever again because you're like, well, they didn't respond in 2 weeks, so they must be a cold lead. What if they're not? What if they're just busy like you and me and they forgot? So we really want to look at your follow-up system. If you don't have a follow-up system or you kind of feel guilty of the things I just said, you are leaving thousands of dollars on the table every single month. So think about this. You could have maybe a post-consultation follow-up. So if you do consults, I assume you don't have a 100% close rate. And if you do, please come tell me all your secrets because we're good, but we're not that good. So what happens when they try you out? They take a free consult. What is the sequence you give them when they show up but don't commit to buy? If we audited just that, would you be a 10 out of 10? Usually when I say to people, how are you doing in follow-ups? Some people will say 7, 8, and then I'll get the one person to say 10. There is a 0% chance you are a 10 because I could go in right now and audit that and have a couple tweaks here and there. You should always be split testing. You should always be trying to outdo yourself and increase your leads. I'll get this a lot. I'll have maybe the business owner say, oh, I close 70% of my leads, right? Now, anytime they always say 70% for some reason. And anytime somebody says a real number, like a plain number, like 70, you definitely don't know your close rate. A real closer, a real salesperson would say, my close rate is 54.2%. My challenge to you is don't just assume you're good at selling. Go look at your actual follow-up. Figure out the real math. Let's get that number and then let's try to outdo that number. Wait till you see what happens when you incorporate this. There could also be another sequence for somebody who didn't purchase, right? They added to cart but didn't buy. Cart abandonment is massive. Or they started the inquiry form but they didn't complete it. What do you want to say to these people? Do you want to remind them to go back and finish filling it out? Why should I fill it out? What's the incentive for me to fill it out? Help me get in motion and take that action. You could also think about auto responses to inbound DMs, calls, or emails, okay? So there are a lot of things you could be doing here. Now ask yourself, when it comes to your team, who owns the follow-up? If it's everybody, no one's really checking. So who is in charge of actually looking at these numbers? Now, definitely use a CRM to automate your reminders. You should not be calling and texting people yourself, okay? Use things like High Level, FG Funnels, HubSpot, It's going to be a game changer. Now, you'll want to build an email and text follow-up sequence 7 to 10 days minimum. And when I say 7 to 10 days, that I think is a very normal thing that people say. But what you don't understand is it doesn't stop at day 10. After day 10, you might be a little less aggressive, but you're still going to follow up. So good follow-up is following up with qualified leads indefinitely, meaning you are never going to stop until they write down the word stop in the text or unsubscribe in email. Otherwise, you're going to keep messaging them because they haven't told you otherwise. From there, create a bank of sales objections and how to respond to them. We just plugged in a bunch of our, I think 100 sales calls into ChatGPT. And we basically said to it, give us our 4 biggest objections, okay? And then we even said, show us when our team overcame those objections. What did they say? All of the things. We got some gold in that messaging. So go figure out what your objections are so that whoever is working in follow-up can actually handle it. Now, the biggest mistake I see business owners make is they think, I don't really have somebody in charge of this, right? Like I have Sally who works the front desk. I've got Sarah who posts on Instagram 10 hours a week. I'm like, well, who's your sales team? And they're like, we don't have a sales team. I'm like, wrong. It's Sally and it's Sarah. Unfortunately, you didn't tell them they were in sales. But when Sally's picking up the phone or replying to emails, she is in sales. She is helping convert them. She should be busting their objections, right? She should be following up. So the worst thing is, you do have this function. You should have this function. You're just not doing it. And the team members don't know. So assign team members to actually follow up daily on open leads. Watch it in your pipeline management. Use AI chat or DM automation to engage leads immediately. We just started using a new tool called Revio.com. We are loving it. There is so much in there that we were losing when we were using Meta and we were putting our, going back and forth in DMs through Meta. It's really hard to follow up and not know who's qualified and who's not. Now with Revio, we absolutely can do that. Here's the deal. You're not chasing leads. You're nurturing them with intention. So a strong follow-up is going to give you predictable revenue without you having to spend more money to acquire. System number 2, listen up because this one's gold, okay? This is reactivation. So this is for past customers who haven't bought with you in a while and they're sitting in your database doing nothing. And again, you think, well, if they really wanted to come back, they know I'm here and they would. So you don't want to feel salesy and you don't want to feel pushy. But again, sometimes it's like we just forgot about you. So here's a great example. I was using a photographer every single year, the same one. And then for some reason, I'm not sure what happened or why, but I found a different photographer that was a little bit closer to home and we used her. And then the next year, I don't know, I went back to somebody else. All of a sudden this past year, I needed a photographer and I was like, wait, whatever happened to that one person I used? And I went back, I'm like, I like her photos. Like, why did I not go back? I don't remember. So I messaged her back. The thing is, if she would have messaged me years ago or even after that first year, like, hey, how'd you like your family photos last year? Did you want to do another annual? That little follow-up, reactivating a past client is so much easier than going after a cold lead who doesn't know you. I liked my photos. She did a great job. If she would have said that, I probably would have said, sure, let's book it. So stop thinking they will come to you. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we forget. So you've got to be the one proactive and reach out to your old clients. Not all clients leave unhappy. Some clients leave because they got what they came for. And then again, they forgot about you. Now, it costs 5 to 7 more times more to get a new customer than to sell an old one. Your past customer list is gold. Make sure you're actually using it, especially when they already know you, they like you, they trust you, right? Show them how easy it is to come back. Maybe give them an incentive. You can systematize this, and it's one of the fastest, cheapest ways to scale your business. So make sure you tag and segment your inactive customers in your CRM. Now, some people you don't want to reactivate. Like, have you had a client where you have, right? You had a client where you're like, I will pay you to not hire us. I will give you money to never have to speak to you ever again, okay? We have all had that client. So here's what you can do. You can go into your CRM and you can actually put clients into a folder called Do Not Contact. I would say though, when somebody is done working with you, ask yourself, Was this a lead I want to keep working with? Because if it wasn't, don't put it in a sequence where you're getting them back into your business. Let's not make more work for yourself than we need to. So what you can do here is create a 3 to 6 month reactivation campaign. One of our clients, Alicia, she has a bridal shop. She sells custom bridal gowns and they're gorgeous. And she did a reactivation campaign. She messaged all of her brides who already bought from her, and she messaged them about doing something for their bridesmaids. And she brought in $36,000 in 30 days. Okay. Jen, a landscaper, made $23,000 in 30 days in January, when typically she doesn't ever sell in January because she's a seasonal landscaper. You guys, we on Mondays, we have a daily huddle or weekly huddle with the whole company. And every week we do company wins. And some of our coaching department will actually share client wins in our wins, right? Because their success is our success. I can't tell you how many times people are like, this person did the reactivation and they just made X amount of money. And then another person's like, I had a client who did reactivation too, and they just made this much money. Reactivation is such an underutilized system that people just don't think to do. So build in automations to help identify those who haven't purchased recently, and let's get them back in. You could trigger this monthly, right? You could do reactivation promos after they haven't been here for 30 days. What can we do to send that information out? Most people, when we have them go into our quick cash injection sprint to reactivate clients, they'll make a really good chunk of money on those first 30 days. And they'll go, that was amazing. Now what should I do? I'm like, listen, you did it for 30 days, but let's systematize this so that every time somebody falls off, they go into that sequence and we reactivate them automatically. So we had Jody, a home stager. She was like, Stacy, I think she made $26,000 in 30 days. And she goes, that was nothing compared to day 90, because she kept the system going and she kept getting people back in. So this is going to be a huge game changer for you. So you could do the We Miss You campaign with a special bonus or incentive to come back. You can do an offer with a limited time comeback credit, $50 off, free bonus. You don't always have to discount. You could add something in. You could DM old clients manually with a personal check-in and see how it's going. Just being top of mind is going to be massive. You could make this a little fun for the team, and you could incentivize your staff to bring back one past client per week and have a leaderboard with prizes and contests and things like that of whoever brings back the most people. Use your email list, use your text message list to reintroduce these new services or offers. We actually just did this. We reworked our entire well-oiled operations program. We've put in 2.0. And we have another program that's like for people that continue to stay with us, Operator Optimizer, where we help people hire their operator, their right hand, and get them up and running and revenue generating. So we made sure we're like, who needs to know about these offers, right? Who needs to know that, hey, you might have done this 6 months ago, but look what we just added to this program. These are things and ways to get people in. We reactivate customers every single month, and you absolutely could be doing it too. You don't need a new audience to hit new revenue goals, and I hope you see that. You just need a system to wake up the old one. Number 3, referral. So a referral system, referrals are like the warmest leads you will ever get, right? But most businesses treat them as accidental. They're reactive. It's like, oh, Sally referred, great. But when you systematize referrals, right, they start to become consistent, and you can start to compound those over time. Your best customers want to refer you. They just need sometimes a little nudge or a reason to do it now. Could you have a referral rewards program? It's trackable, it's automated. There's a win-win for each person. I love like what we call like the DirecTV concept of when you had DirecTV back in the day. It was like DirecTV, hey, you're gonna get $100 and so is your friend. So it's very easy to say to your friend, hey, you don't have DirecTV, you should get it, and mention my name because we're both gonna get something. I love a referral program where it's incentivized to both. What I don't love sometimes is when only the person that has referred is going to get the bonus. Why? Because they might think, their friend's like, Raven, you have to join this program, right? You join, and all of a sudden you find out there's a killer referral program. And you're like, did my friend actually like this, or did she just want the money? I like it when you say, hey, you're going to get 100, I'm going to get 100, right? It's like they know coming in, there's no weird, icky feeling. And they also are advertising your referral program to start spreading the word and tell other people. Now, the timing of this is really important. The when and how you ask. I always ask after somebody compliments us or shares a win or tells us how amazing it's been to work with us, right? That is a great time to say, I love that. Thank you for sharing. If you know of anybody that would benefit, I would be so grateful. Versus you want to be very careful when somebody's complaining and they get an automatic message, an email that's like, hey there, you've been here for 2 weeks. Leave us a review or share us with your friend. And trust me, you don't want them telling their friends or leaving reviews and things like that. So be careful. Also, think about referral language. How can you teach your customers how to actually refer? What to say, what to post. You might actually give them a social media post to say, hey, you can just take this and put this on your social. Do the work for them, okay? And then make sure you do ongoing reminders to your team and your customers to be able to share. A couple things you could do to enhance this even more if you want to get a little advanced is you could create a referral landing page with a simple opt-in form. You could offer tiered rewards, right? So maybe it's $10 for one referral or $50 for 3, depends on what you sell, right? But you could have email and DM scripts that your team can actually use to ask for referrals, like training on referrals, having a referral contest for this month, right? And let the team know we've got this going on. You could also think about what are some referral thank yous. When somebody does refer, maybe they do get something, but do I want to send them a little gift or a thank you or a handwritten card? Think about that. You'll want to celebrate and spotlight customers who refer others. The more you show and reward people for referring, the more other people are like, maybe I should be referring her. Or who do I believe would be a good fit for this service? And this is great because you're creating a sales force that doesn't need a salary. And every client becomes a growth channel, which is how you can explode your business. System 4, and it's a good one. This is an upsell system. So acquiring a customer can be expensive. It feels like it's getting more and more expensive, right? So once you've earned their trust, it's 10 times easier to increase the value of that customer than it is to go find a brand new one, okay? But even knowing that, most businesses, they don't offer anything else, okay? When I teach upsell, the amount of people that will say to me, and you probably already thought this, some of you, I only have one product. Like I don't have something to upsell. I sell bridal gowns. So how could I upsell somebody? They bought a bridal dress. They are not going to buy another one, right? So you have to really ask yourself, do I have a business or do I have a product? If you just thought to yourself, I could never upsell, we've got an issue, okay? Even if you're like, when people say, I only sell brides ones, I'm like, so the bride needs nothing else besides a dress. There's so many things you could tack in, like you could add in there, okay? Upselling is going to be a massive opportunity. Now, a lot of business owners are allergic to the word selling and sales, and they get so nervous because they don't want to come off salesy. So then replace the word upsell or sell with just serving. If you offer something good, you have a responsibility to make sure people know, okay? So if I believe that I have the best dance and music schools in my area, and I believe the person down the road is not as good, and I actually disagree with some of their values and how they're training and teaching and all of the things, I have a responsibility to let potential clients know their options and why they should pick us. You have that responsibility too. So I really want you to let go of feeling salesy and I can't do this and they're going to think I'm overselling. Just have a great product and don't worry about anything else, okay? Let's talk about when to upsell. So first of all, should you do it on the spot? Should you do it during onboarding, post-delivery, 2 weeks after they've bought? These are all great questions, right? So you've got to figure out, well, when does it make sense? Like if you have a food truck and you're selling tacos, it makes sense to say in that moment, did you want to add guacamole? Like that's when you would do it. You wouldn't pitch them 2 weeks later on the idea, right? So when does it make sense for you? Sometimes you might think it actually feels too fast to do it on the spot. We might want to wait a week until they've made progress and then say, hey, did you know about this? You know your business best. You want to test to figure out what makes sense. You also want to figure out who on the team owns the upsell. Is this a sales department? Is this your front desk? Is this the account manager? Who should be selling? Because you know what you don't want? You do not want all three trying to sell them. Because now you will be the company where it's like, they just keep trying to pitch me every time I talk to them, right? So figure out who should be doing it and who should not be selling. So train your staff to ask, do you want fries with that? Like, what's your version, right? What's your target checkout version? When you go to Target and you think you got everything you need, and then you're in that checkout line and you're looking at the Cheetos and the gum and the drinks and you're throwing things in. Like, what is your, do you want fries with that moment where you just add in a little bit? What is that for you? Start to build product and service ladders. So what is your intro, your barrier of entry to get in? What is your core offer? Your premium offer. So maybe you're a landscaper. Well, maybe the premium offer is you do everything. You're going to cut my grass. You're going to pull my weeds. You're going to come and do the fall cleanup, the spring cleanup, all of that. Okay. Well, that could be like the premium everything, but maybe there's something in there in the middle where it's just grass cutting, right? And maybe there's like a little trial offer of like, hey, do you want your first time like weed control sprayed, right? Or I'll pull weeds for the first time for free, like something small. How can you work your way up? You might have one gigantic offer and it might be too much for people to test you out. So how can we actually start small and work our way up? You can use software to trigger those upsells based on client behavior. So maybe you're like, oh, when they do this, that is when it's a perfect time to add on X. Great. That software could either notify you or it could notify them with an automatic email. So we use FG funnels, okay? And in there, we have our sales pipeline. Customer does something, it moves in the pipeline like she just booked this. I now wake up, get to work, I see my leads list of who just did that thing, and I could manually make the phone call or I could have it automate an email, a text message, etc. FG Funnels is insanely amazing. We have an entire training on them if you want to check out what it all offers. It's one of our go-to softwares. We'll link that in the description as well. You could offer add-ons during checkouts, consults, renewals, you name it. There's so many options. You've got to figure out what feels best for you and then test it. But this is where you could turn a one-time service into a package or a retainer and increase your customer lifetime value. So now if you're making more per client with the same amount of effort and the same amount of ad spend, right? That's how your margins start to improve and scale and the business becomes sustainable. Now, if you want to scale fast and stop chasing new leads like it's your full-time job, you want to start optimizing what's already in front of you. So these 4 systems, follow-up, reactivation, referrals, upsells. People always say to me, which one should I do first? Okay, well, first of all, where are you getting current people from? Like what is actually happening? And then ask yourself, what would be the easiest one for you to do? You don't need to go do all 4. Just one of them could make you a lot of money. So if you know, I got a lot of leads and I get a lot of leads every day, you might start right there. You might think, I have a lot of really great customers that no longer buy from me that I should just send out an email and see if I could get somebody back, okay? We had a chiropractor send out an email campaign within 3 days, okay? I think it was like one email one day and then 2 days later, another email. 33 appointments came from his reactivation campaign. 33. So it's like if you have past customers where you're like, he's like, I know I could get them back in the door. Great, start there. If you are already crushing referrals, don't think, oh, I'm too good for referrals. I do referrals. No, if you are crushing referrals and you don't have a referral program, go systematize it. If you are sitting on clients that love you, it may be time to offer them another add-on. These 4 systems are the backbone of every 7- and 8-figure business I know. They're simple, they're low cost, and when they're running, they make the business feel well-oiled. Now, if you want to hear more systems like this and how we get our business well-oiled, you can comment below this video the word scale, and I've got a free training called Protect Your Profit. It's actually a live training, and on this training, I'm going to go over some of these systems in detail, but also show you how this works in the bigger picture of getting you, the business owner, out of the day-to-day operations once and for all.